If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon to get the latest updates.
Shall we start? Or you have any questions for today?
Yeah. So I was working on EIB outbounds.
Okay.
And I also created the report and the assignment that you sent me to create calc fields and configure it in a report in various fields like that.
Yeah.
So my quick question is, there was this one calc field which you asked me to create for that report, which is seniority, not the seniority
Date.
date.
Yes.
No, it's not the seniority date. It's the other one where we use build date function to get the year from the hire date and date and month from the current effective date.
Okay, let me share my screen. Which one you can tell me?
Yeah.
I have opened the assignment. So which one you're saying? This one?
Create a field. Yes.
Okay. See, this is
So
saying
I did get the output that you asked for, but the only thing is I didn't get the month in text field.
okay. You didn't get the month in text field. You want to convert it to number, right?
No, I have it in number. So
Okay.
when I went, let me share my screen so that I know. Or you can only okay. Let me share my screen.
So you want to convert a text field to a numeric field?
No, it's the other way around.
A numeric to a text field?
Yes.
Okay. So we have a field called format number. Format number is there. Okay. So whenever this report, I was about to tell you this. Yes. Like even this was there. Okay. See, there's one more thing I want to tell you. I have list of like the whatever leftover calfield function also I'll cover it up. Okay.
Okay.
I have noted all the things whichever I will need to pen covering. I have to cover that as well.
So, here is all the things that you asked for me. The name of the report is CR Assignment Sushma.
Okay.
So here, first date from the, what I've done is, I used build date. So in build date, I extracted year from the hire date, month from the current month, date from the current effective
See, the
date.
month also should be same. I want only the.
Yeah.
See, the month also should be the same. Year also should be the same. Only the day should be hard coded. See, for example, my requirement is like, even if I was hired on for say 5th of January, okay, my hire date should be January the 1st. Instead of 5th, it should be January 1st, 2015 or whatever the hire date year is. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. See, what they are saying is like, if let me like I told you, create a calc field that represents the first day of the month following the worker's hire date. So whichever day he might be hired, her day should be one.
Okay.
The month and year should be the same.
Yeah, but if you see my screen, you said.
Okay, I've said okay. Even the month should be hard coded. Then it's fine. How would that just be? Okay, I just wrote it wrong. Okay, that's okay. So
but it's just that I couldn't get it in in this format. Basically, like the month in text.
That you can get it. Put 3 M's, 4 M's. Go to the format date and put 4 M's.
Okay. Okay.
Instead of 3, right? You'll get 4. If you put 4 M, you'll get the full month. Okay? Got it?
Okay.
It's not about the formatting. It's only any date it could be fine. Formatting could be, but you want full month name, you have to put 4 M's. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That is one thing. And in my integrations, so what I did with so when I'm doing an EIB, right? I'm trying to fetch this particular report in my EIB outbound. So if I don't share the report definition, does it affect my?
No, your report should be web service enabled.
Yeah, it is enabled. I
Okay.
enabled.
Still, you're not getting it there.
I'm getting my integration is
You
failing
assign an
actually.
ISU?
As ISU to this particular
No,
integration?
assign to your EIB. You have assigned. No, that could not be the case. You should get your report, CR assignment, Sushma. You're owning this report, right?
Yeah, I own the report.
Can you scroll down? Who is the owner of the report?
The particular
Login person, right?
login person, yes.
Okay, you should get it if it is web service enabled. It should be, because I didn't share it to anyone, right, on that day.
No, you didn't. Mostly, I think I have not assigned security user for
That's
this.
okay. That if you don't assign it, also the error should not come. What is the error it is coming? Can you show me the error? Can you add incompatible data source, alternate output format? Can you edit this AIB? It's not with the report. It's not with security.
Actually, what happened? This I ignored it, and I tried to go forward and work on the transformation. So initially, also it actually failed. Let me show you this. Okay, so now I don't have any transformation to the report. I'm only running the EIP. So I don't have any errors. Now if I say I go to integrations and launch, and
You'll get it because you find you have output, you specify the output file as CSV, right? Whenever you need a formatting, then you go for custom transformation. Okay.
Yes, correct. So the thing is,
so it's not with the report, it might be with transformation, I tell you.
Yeah, so no, before this also my integration failed, saying that it couldn't fetch some seniority field or something like that happened yesterday. But today I don't know, maybe it is coming. Let's see. What was the So when I give Workday attachment output as .csv, and I still go to transformation and provide new custom transformation and try to edit
So you use new custom report transformation. Don't use the existing one. Use custom report new custom report transformation.
I did that. That is when I was getting that error. I mean,
okay, let me try it. Don't worry, we'll try it out.
I don't know why it's taking time.
Because of every employee is running the report, right? It may take some time.
Yeah, see?
Okay, let me see the error. So assign pay blank date or start date. This error calculated. Okay, it's with last pay increase date.
Last pay increase date?
So, which is saying blank started. They're having a blank started end date. That's why.
Okay. Yeah. I go here.
It's not with the there's some problem with the report, not with you can run the report.
Yeah. So
see, can you open the calfil?
Yeah.
See, for few of them, last pay increase date is empty. Might be they don't have any increase date. Okay.
So I have to return 0 if it's blank, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I didn't select this.
Yeah.
Should I do it for the seniority also?
For
For those
seniority,
who are
did we
less.
there's a evaluate experience? If not, it will return blank, right?
Okay.
You made the try default value as blank.
Yeah, I'll just check once, just
Okay.
in case. Hmm.
It's empty string.
Yeah.
Okay. So just now run the report. Okay, just run the integration. Report will be fine.
So, say suppose I schedule it for my, I schedule the integration for future. Okay, yeah, it worked. So I schedule the integration for future, and I decide that, say suppose I'm no longer, like say somebody XYZ is an employee who schedules an integration event for future, say 2 days after
So you
the
have to
whatever.
transfer the ownership. You have to, with respect to EIB, we will transfer the ownership of the customer who is owning it. For example, is leaving. Okay.
Yeah.
For example, let's say you're leaving an organization, you own certain reports. So we'll create a report, a custom report, which is owned by you. Okay. Basically, we do this in real time. Okay. So for example, you're leaving an organization, I'll create a custom report, which is owned by you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll transfer the ownership to the, that's why we basically have ISUs. Okay. We don't
Right.
make people to run the, run the integration on our own name. We basically, for integrations, we have ISUs, right?
Yes.
Even if you leave, nobody cares. ISU will be the owner. That's why we
Right.
have this IOC concept. If, for example, with respect to reports, okay,
Mm-hmm.
basically in real time, we use assign ISUs. If not, okay, if some of the reports are owned by you in respect to reporting, not in integrations, I create a custom report which is owned by some person, then I'll transfer the ownership to other person who's going to own that.
Okay. So, say suppose if I'm using the report in the EIB, if I only transfer the report ownership, is it enough, or do I have to also transfer the integration system user of the integration?
See, for example, if the integration is assigned to ISU, if you're using an ISU for this integration, the report also should be owned by ISU.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
That's why I'm saying, like, with respect to integration, you're using a report in EIB, then both should be owned by ISU. See, some report
Okay.
we just give for a reporting purpose, right? For example, a CEO
Yeah.
is asking, so those HR reporting happens, right? That time we don't assign to ISU, it will be owned by people. Okay. In that time, whoever owning it, we'll transfer to the other person.
Yes. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it? Yeah.
Yeah. And the EIB inbound and the outbound, they have this file size and all, right? So transformation file
Yeah,
size.
actually, yeah, file size is there, but every update, new updates comes up, right? I'm not sure how, with this list, what is the update for EIB and integrations? I didn't read it actually in fine time. Okay. See, every year time, the update has been come up and they come up with new things, right? Currently, what is
Yeah.
the GB? I am not remembering it. They have improved the
But is
size.
it very important to know?
Yeah, actually, but I didn't this release I didn't find time to read it. I just work. I'm into a functional thing, right? So I just run for function. No, I was doing some change job BP with respect to that. I was doing the research, but not with this technical. See, I'm a techno-functional person. I work on technical as well as functional, right? So this current project is more of functional. So I was more concentrating on functional. I didn't get things to what is update on technicals.
Okay.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, maybe if you want, I get some links and share with you. Or I think you have community access.
I do have it. I'll check.
Yeah, you can check in community. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So let's start with the studio one today.
Okay.
I'll also cover up to the remaining calculated fields functions. Okay.
Okay.
So yesterday we were discussing about the integration, right? So I was saying, right, I won't have a retirement eligibility date. Who was hired every day, update the retirement eligibility date. So we saw the web service, how to call it, and it was working fine. My web server, I got the request. Okay.
Yes.
Let me open my studio. It is getting open. So what basically we will do is like, so I'm going to get the input from Workday itself. I'll create a custom report. Okay. So in the custom report, I will have my employee ID. Okay. I'll have my employee name. If the employee name is not okay, for just for the sake of thing, I'm going to have employee name, date of birth. Here only I'll add retirement eligibility date of birth plus 58 years. So to the date of birth, I will add 58. So it will give me the retirement eligibility date, right? I'll do an increment date, add to the date of birth, I will add 58 years. Okay. And then I'll get my retirement eligibility date. So everything from the report, I'll get it. Okay. I have to pass this date to my web service. Okay. Got it? I'm just telling you the custom report is going to have these fields. Okay. Okay. So I got my web service also yesterday. I'll go through this. Okay. What I have done, I'll show you. I'll tell you the both ways. If they're giving you file and not the report, how we can also we'll do it, we'll see. Okay. So I'll using the web service tester. I will test that test that particular web service. So I hope it is working fine. So I'll take the request from there. So in start your components, what all the properties we can have it. It may be a question to you. Okay. So what is the use of start your component? As you know, like you know about the basics, right? So let me put questions. So let me know how far you are. And yes, we will see what happens next. Okay. So what is start here component will be, what are the services we have? Wonder lot, what is use of start here first?
Start here, we will have a launch parameters. We will have transaction logs, and we will have
Okay, let me start with each components. I'll tell you what are components at least being used. I'll explain it. Okay. See, start here, if you don't have any start here, integration will not start. So start here is a component. Every integration, every studio integration starts with start here. Okay.
yes.
Without start here, it cannot start your integration. So this is the main point. Under that, we have a properties of each component has its own properties, right? So it has, okay, let me expand this. Okay. So it will have common, which is your ID. If you want to rename it, you can rename the IDs. Okay. Route stays and you know how to, where to should route. Okay. See, this advanced is, see, if you want, if your project name is there something different and your integration name to be changed, this is the name. In this name only, it goes and sits in your integrations. So in the tenant, right, with this name only, we indicate the name of the integration. Okay. Your project name might be different, but integration name we want to be different. You can make it. For example, if you don't specify it, this will be my integration name. Okay. Got it? So, okay. So under launch parameters, what are the types we have? What are the launch parameters type we have?
Okay.
You know it?
No.
See, we have simple, referenced, and enumeration. Okay. So in simple, we can directly, this is simple type. This is higher date as like, it's a date field. It's a simple type. Okay. Let me add one here and show you. If you add like this, it's a simple type. We will not any class report fields, any options like this. Either you have to choose a field type, what field it is. The Boolean or date and time or number or text field. Okay. So it's a simple type. For example, in my launch parameter, I want to have a supervisory organization. Okay. Which is like, from the tenant, I want to pull the value. Okay. What will I do in that time? So I will put a reference type. I want to refer to a class report field, which is a workday field. Okay. In that case, I will add a remuneration type field. Okay, so you have an arrow here. Okay, you have to click here. It will connect to your tenant. Okay, 1 minute.
So reference type is for what?
See, it will refer to a class report field. Let me establish the connection. See,
Okay.
for hire date, it may be any hire date may pass. Like it's a date field. Okay, it's like on running the indication I may give, or the first day of the month, or last day of the month, or today minus 1 day. So it's like the passing day will be date field. We are not going to refer any field in the tenant. For example, from the supervisor organization, what is that?
Yeah.
You got it right?
We passing the date, right? In simple.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me connect to tenant.
Okay.
See, each component has their own properties. Okay, so they'll ask me on the properties level. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So where do you specify the service they ask? So if you want, if your field is a multi-instance field or both, you can specify it. Okay. So you can specify, I want to search for supervisory organization. Okay. Like I'm saying, it may be a pay group, or it may be anything. It might be okay. So you want to search for any employee name, you want to pass it. So supervisory organization, I'm just typing it here. I'm just searching. It will show me all the fields in a supervisory organization with respect to any business object. It will show you. Okay. See, these are the list of supervisory organization fields are there. So from this, you can choose your own supervisory organization field. For example, you can read the description. So I want to know supervisory organization for the worker as of effective date. Choose that. Okay. So it will refer to that field. Okay, it's a reference type. Okay.
Okay.
Got it. So enumerator is something like it's a you want to have yes or no, or you can create your own literal strings. Okay, let me add. For example, yes. I want to have, see, it will be it will be kind of checkbox. Okay, or you want to add no. So it enumeration type we say it. So when you launch it, it's either yes or no checkbox will be there. So you base it how many values you have. It will create a checkbox like that. You have to choose yes or no like that. Okay, it's a on running an integration, it will have it. It will not have in your report. It will not have in your tenants. Okay, but it will have it in your studio integration launch parameters. Okay. Okay. It's an enumeration type. So what are the three types are they? Simple, reference, and enumeration. Okay. Got it? This respect to launch parameters. Okay. What are the services we have? See, we have attribute map services. Whatever services we have with respect to co-connector, we have it here. Okay. We have to define it here. I'll tell you. See, when you want to call a report in a studio integration, we should call your report as a service. Okay. See, here I'm calling a custom report. Okay. Using report as a service. I'll remove that and show you. I don't have this report in my tenant. Okay. I'll show you. Okay. I'll create one and show you. Okay. Let me understand this. Then I'll create a flow and show to you. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the report as a service. So using this service, I'll call my report into the studio integrations. Okay.
Okay.
And this is a transaction log service. If you're going to have any transaction log service, we will add the service here, but we'll configure it in tenant.
Okay.
Okay. Similar to see, if you're using sequence generator service, we will configure it, but we'll configure it we'll call the service here, but we'll configure it in tenant. But you have to, if your integration should have sequence generator, but you should call the service here.
Okay.
Okay. So if you sequence generator will be for outbound.
So if I have a sequence generator and my core connector worker, which I will be using here, so I'll have to call a sequence generator here as well, right? Is that what you said?
See, there is no co-connector here, right?
Okay.
We are using a report. My report output should be sending to an external person. Okay. So in that case, I should have a co-connector here. Sequence generator called here. I will have the service here, but all the formatting will be done on the tenant level.
Okay.
I'll tell you how in the store file how we configure the sequence value. I'll tell you. Okay.
Okay. So
again, we have this sequence generator service. We have this retrieval service. For example, you want to call any file from external. Okay. A file is a service like an SFTP server. You want to retrieve from a place, right? So we have to have a retrieval service. So delivery is delivering a file to a some place. Okay, but retrieval service something like we have to retrieve a file from a SFTP server. So we need the service. Okay, if you want to have any file from an external external path, we have to have this configure this retrieval service. I'll also show you about how we are going to call this. Okay. And I'm not sure about listener service. I have never used. I have to be very frank. So I have never used listener service. I'm not aware of that. Okay. Delivery service something you want to deliver your file to your SFTP server. You will use delivery service. Okay. What is this attribute? Okay. See, for example, if you want to have any maps or any, let's say, document retention policy, which is there in attributes, right? In real time for the co-connector, we have this document retention policy, right? See, some people may have 40, some people may have 30, some people may have 45 days, some people may have 180 days, right? So how we can get those document generator retention policy from the tenant, we can get it here in the studio integrations. I'll show one outbound, you will understand it. Okay, so that is one thing. How we can call this? If you want to have any maps, for example, I'll add one here. So here we can specify both your attributes and your maps. So we have two tabs here, attributes and maps. If you have any attributes, you can call it here. If you want if you have configured any maps, you have to configure it here. Okay. So you're clear about the services. I'm not sure about listener services. For example, if you're having any custom object, okay, we can use this custom object. We have there is no show custom object is there. So custom object service. So if you have any custom object in Workday, we use this custom object reference and call it here. Okay. So let's have a look on this. Okay. So what is this Workday outrest? Let me explain the components. Okay. How the functions are and what is the parameters, and I'll tell the flow. Or you know about the properties?
No, tell me.
Okay. See, when you want to call any custom report, okay, you should have your Workday outrest. Okay. If you want to say, for example, I have called a report here. Okay. Services. And I should have a Workday outrest component for sure. And then I should call here. Okay. I will also tell about this prompt. How, if you have prompts in your report, how we have to call here, I will tell that also. Okay. And next is the async mediation. As well, it's a one-way communication. See, in async mediation, we have still under that we have a lot more sub components. We have it's for evaluate expression. It's for to write any XSLT. You use it here. See, we have an update with some of the release. I don't remember the exact list. We came with XSLT plus. Okay, in XSLT we cannot write XTT functions, as I told. In XTT functions we have this XSLT plus. Okay, then if you are using XSLT plus, we will use XML to XTT to XML. So XML to text, so that it converts. You can use the XTT functions. Have an example for you. I'll show that. Okay. And we also write this is for to write any to pass any request SOAP request. We use this write component. Okay. So to copy when we call a file, right? What this copy I'm telling for what we use is copy component. Okay. See, for example, we copy a file from a external service from SFTP server. Okay. So first what you will do is we will copy that message from the file and convert to a variable and store it to a variable. For example, the file is XML. Okay. We copy that XML file to a variable. Okay. I have a simple example to show you. I created on my own. Okay. To show you. See, this is my file. This is how I get a file from SFTP. DA is data accessor. Okay. See, whenever you want to know about any function, we just write DA space. It gives you what is DA is. Control space. Okay. Document accessor. DA is a document accessor. To call any file from your external server, we will call this DA.to variable. We'll call using this function. We will call a date file. Okay, and store it to a variable. So to this function, I'm calling a first file or in the SFTP server. It's the index. Okay, let me show you. I'm just putting this function. See, It says to variable. Whenever you get a file, it will be stored to variable. So you have to use your first index. Index in the sense, first file on my SFTP server. You want to take the second file, then you put 1. You want to check the third file. So whatever you specify the index, which file it should take it. Okay, you specify this index number. Okay, or if you know the file name, you want to directly specify the file name, still you can specify the file name here. Okay, and then to which variable you want to store it. Okay, 2 ways. So this is how we call a variable, like no, a file. Okay, so from the retrieval service. Okay, and then when you copy this file, like no, when you copy this and convert to a variable, we copy this to a, this is now a variable. So from that we'll copy it to a message. So now this is in the form of variable, right? This is various variable, copying the file to a variable, but I want to pass it as a message. Okay, so we copy the, we use copy component from the variable, like no, as a variable we'll copy it as a message. Okay, got it? Let me talk about this later. I'll complete that. Okay, I'll create and show you instead of this. You want me how you want to explain the flow, it's fine, or you want to create, I want to create and show you any integration.
That would be better, I guess.
Okay, good. See, now requirement is like 2 ways are there. Okay, as I said, for inbound, one is 2 ways, either getting an inbound from Workday itself and uploading it. Now whatever requirement I said is like, I'll get via requirement via custom report and update via which one, the web service. Okay, this is, I'll be getting a file. From the file I'll update via web service. 2 ways of inbounds. Okay, so first I'll explain via report, then I'll come to this file as a file. Okay, the same integration I've done via 2 ways to show you how it is. Okay, see, let's talk about this first, then I'll come there. Okay, so now scenario is like, I'm getting a report via a custom report. I'm getting this values from the report. Okay, so this report I'm calling it in the service call, like no, as a report as a service, I'll use this and I'll call my report here as a first step, because my first step is I need a report, right, to update the values. So to update Workdesk, in the report I am having 2 prompts. Since we have a timing, like no, this is for India. Okay, this is for India, as my tenant is on Pacific timing. Okay, but I don't want like no, some mismatch on time is there. So what I'm taking is like today minus yesterday plus today I'm taking here. Okay, I did and 2 dates I'm passing, yesterday and today. Okay, so people who are getting between these 2 dates, I'll be getting it in my report. Okay, so I have 2 prompts in my line. How do you specify if you have prompts? Okay, I'll take how to define this one. I'll tell you. See, if you call any report, it shows the alias name. You can call it either 2 ways. You can call your report. Okay, let me create and show. Otherwise, it will be confusing for you. If I tell it orally, like you won't understand. Let me create and show you. Okay. Oh, report inbound. Next, finish. Okay, I'll put it as I said. Start here is the default component which is required to, which is a Workday in component is a start here. Okay, under here, let me quickly create a report. employee ID I'll take. I'll take hire date, date of birth, and I'll add a prompt of filter for hire date. I'll just add one hire date now.
So, say suppose I don't have a hire date, in my particular report, like there is no prompt start date or end date. Is it still okay to fetch it?
It is a required field, right? We'll make it as required field.
No, I mean, here in this report you're doing it. Say I have my report that I've created yesterday, right? So I can still pull the report and put it in Studio and do transformations, right? For my practice.
You can do it. Yes.
Okay.
So you can make them as required so that it is mandatory to have these prompts. Okay. If you don't specify it, it's not required. Okay. So I make them as I want only this prompt, so I'll make this do not prompt at runtime if you're using this data source. Okay. And also make them as required. Okay. Even you can make them here required, or if you go to Studio, right? Even in here you can make them required. So if you go to parameters, right? Launch parameters. Here we have an option of required. Even you can make it as required. Okay. So hire date, I'm just having it here. Okay. So why I am showing, like, to show how to in the launch parameters, how we can add as if there is any prompt in your report, how we define in the Workday outrest. Okay. That's why I just added this report. Okay. Let me go here and I'll go to the clarify.
One and hire date too.
As of now, I'm having one hire date. Okay. To show you how to add a prompts. Okay. Okay. So I want to call a report here. See, this is my integration name is this, but I don't want this name to be in my tenant. So I want to have int001. You can search with this integration name. Okay, I'll deploy and show you. And then I want to have a report. So I will call a report from tenant. So I will use report as a service. So you have to specify alias name, say like, specify your name only. It's my report alias name. Okay. Then you have to give an alias name. Then you have to call your report. Click plus. Click on this. Okay. Select a RAS report, which is the report as a service. Go to your tenant, and then let's say this is the report, right? Which is web service enabled. Okay. So this is okay. Why is that not coming? I just enable as web service, right? Yes, so I'll put a report name. I didn't give your name. That's why.
So for me to connect my Studio to, the tenant, the GMS tenant, access that I have, what do I have to give?
Same credentials. So you have to click on Cloud Explorer. Okay. Click on this icon, connection details. Okay. So you'll have these two.
Sandbox.
No. What you have to do is, like, I'll tell you. See, go to here, Cloud Explorer, click on this connection details, click on add. Okay. You have to click on what is it? Any name. This name can be anything. It can be GMS or it can be anything. Your name also it can be. Okay. Even it can be your name. Here, tenant name. What is a tenant name? This is a tenant name. Okay. This is your tenant name. It should be same as what it is without saying, like in this case, to use all those things. And username and password. One thing you have to be very careful is, like, see, it is with this data center, but our data center is WD5. You have to choose WD5, otherwise it will throw error.
Okay.
Got it? Yeah.
Okay.
So I said there are different data centers, I said, right? So with respect to, for example, if you want to connect a sandbox, you have to choose your sandbox here. Okay. Got it? And then you have to choose sandbox Atlanta like this. Then it will connect your sandbox. See, sandbox and production will have same name, right? So that is why we differentiate with this. If you want to connect your production, you have to choose production here, and then you have to deploy it.
So this name, first field doesn't matter, no? I can give any name.
You can give any name to it. This is given for your identification purpose. But this tenant name is same. It should be same as here. After this .com, right? Whatever name is here, that is your tenant name.
Okay.
Got it? Yeah. And username and password. Click on test connection. If it says connection established successfully, then it is connected successfully.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. It will throw error. I want to choose this one and test. So it is connected. You will get connected, tested successfully, which means like we have permission to use all the functions. Okay. Got it. Apply and close. So this is there. Now I'll go to the properties of this. So this is my report is ready. Again, I'll give the alias name. This is a report service name. This is going to be alias name. Let's say report 1. Okay. So what this is, whenever you call a report, I said you should call your Workday outrest. Okay. I'll drag and drop here. So what you have to do is like, if you have your services here, if you call your report services here, so if you go and you call a Workday outrest, you can go here and choose, select, like, pick up an existing report alias. You can choose here and choose this one. Okay. This will be one way of doing it. Okay. But if you see there is no prompt, okay, you don't come, we have to specify it. I'll tell you how to specify it next. One way. Other way is like it's clear button, you can clear it. You delete it here also. The other way of doing it, I'm saying, either one way you have to do it. Okay, let me delete this as well. So I'm not calling my report here. I'm going here. You can even call it from here. See, select a RAS report. Previously we chose pick a existing report alias. If you want to choose select a RAS report, go here, specify the tenant, specify a report name. Okay, choose this. Next.
Okay.
Report alias is required. So I'll make report 1 now. Two ways of doing it. Okay. I'll show you report 1. Finish. See, now can you get higher question mark, higher date is equal to something it's coming? Uses your prompt values. To this, we have to pass our dynamic values. I'll tell you how to do that. Okay. But now you understood it, how this is coming up. Okay. See, if you go here, it automatically comes here. We are not creating it here. We are calling it here. Either way, two ways you can call your report as a service.
Okay.
Okay. So I want to create and show you this one. Two ways of doing this. They may put up in interviews, I'm not sure, but you have to be very clear about how we can call the report as a service in two ways. Okay.
Yes.
So here I'm passing this values, prompt of like this. Okay. How does this, what is this like? We call this an embed expression. Okay. We call this as an embed expression. How I'll tell you. How we can call it in a current report, I'll tell you. Okay. See, I'm passing this. This is my prompt launch parameters. I didn't define it yet. I'll define it now. So I'm going to have higher date as my prompt date. In my report, I have prompt date, right? So I'm going to have higher date. Okay. And it's going to be date field. So whenever you want to call your launch parameter, you can put an evaluate and check it. Otherwise, you can pass directly also. So I'll connect it now to Workday outrest. So to call any launch parameter, okay, to call any launch parameter, the function is lp dot. Okay, let me put an eval and show you. I'll call an async mediation. I'll tell you what is that, and then I'll come here. Okay, so this is a evaluate expression. Okay, so I'll call one evaluate expression. Okay, go to expressions, click on plus lp dot launch parameters. Okay.
Okay.
What I did is like lp is okay, lp control space. I get this control space. Okay. To call any launch parameters is lp. Okay.
Okay.
So LP dot, can you get a lot of functions coming here? Okay.
Yes.
So hire it is a simple type, simple launch parameter. Get simple. See, we have so many things. Get simple data, get reference data, get sequence. I'll get to talk about sequence value later. But if you see reference data, can you see simple data, right? So when using simple launch meta, we have to use simple data. When you're using reference data type, we have to use reference data. Get reference data. Okay.
Okay.
So now I'm using get simple data. I'm going to pass this hire date. Okay. Got it?
Yeah.
How I got the function over here? Okay. To this, you have to pass your launch parameter label.
Okay.
The same label, you have to pass it here. Okay. You can save it to a props. So every variable you wanted to save to a variable, we use props.
Correct.
Now I'll put space. See props. So you want to map some values, you can use it. So you can read this like no access to properties in the mediation context. Properties are accessed by the names. Okay. See, Fred, you want to this property, you want to save the file, save the name Fred. You can use this like it's a kind of temporary storage variable. Okay. So to this variable, let me define. I choose this. It will like no come like this. So you can rename it as hire date.
Okay.
You can have this like no two ways is like you can have this, okay, and then you can change your root. It's to where is my roots to for this? Okay, let me come here. I'll root to async mediation. From async mediation, I will route to Workday outrest. So what I'll do is like now I have to pass this value to here. Okay. So to hide it, I have to pass. So to pass any props values, we use @ curly braces. So now I'll pass this. One way of doing this. Okay. I want to get rid of the step. I don't want this step to happen. I don't want like one more answer. For this one single step, I want to call as evaluate expression. I don't want to have this. Other way of doing this like directly passing this value to that.
Okay.
Okay. That is what have done it here. Instead of reducing this step, I'm directly passing the C prompt one LP dot same value, right? Same thing, and this value two prompts, right? So two prompt values I'm passing it here. Got it? Clear?
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So next again is my evaluate expression. What is this evaluate expression is doing here? So I said, see, for example, I want how many, for example, how many days employees, how many employees are getting stored? Tell me how many records are having updated every day. I want to get my total records. They're asking me how many are successful records, how many are error records. They're asking me this count. Okay. I'm just initializing these values. Okay. I'm just initializing these values as like no initial amount we assign initialization index, right? Incrementing values. So initially we assign a 0 value to it, right? So I'm assigning 0 to it now, as of now. Okay. Okay. So I'm getting 10 records in my output file. I'm getting 10 records. So how to the web service can we pass 10 records at a time? It cannot read it, right? We have to pass one by one. See, 10 records is there. One employee have to pass it separately. I cannot pass it as a bulk. How can it read it?
Yeah.
Right? So what I will use splitter to send one by one. You know process of splitter, right? It splits the record. For example, if there are 100 records, it splits the 100 times one record separately. See, if you have a lot of time, I can even show each and every step since we have a very short span of time, right? I'm just telling it orally. Okay.
Yeah.
So splitter will do it like split every records one by one and gives you. Okay. So what here it is like I'm just initiating this is async mediation to just initialize this counter values. Okay. It's just a counter. And then from this outrest, let's ignore the step. Okay, if you want to, like, no, can understand it, this one. If, for example, from the outrest, I'm getting, from a report, I'm getting 100 records. Okay, 100 records, I want to pass one by one. I'm using splitter. What is this? We have types of splitter. We have XML stream splitter. Okay, let me clear and show you. We have XML like no custom splitter, unzip filter, standard splitter, XPath splitter, Xstream splitter, XML stream splitter. We have unzip filter splitter. Okay, and this is for M table splitter, and this is for subroute. From here, I have created a subroute. Which subroute you want to have it? Okay.
Okay.
So I'll tell about one word about each splitter. So for example, if you're using any customized thing, customized kind of thing, you can use custom splitter. Any customization of a splitter, we use custom splitter. Okay. Next is standard splitter. If you want to like know anything, nothing, you want to pass everything, you can go for standard splitter. And XPath splitter, from the output, from the like no, from the integration, you're getting like both XPath and XML splitter are same. Okay. Are same. So let me add and show you if you want it. If I cannot change it now. Okay. So I'll add it in my report and show you the one which we created now. Let me drag and drop a splitter. Okay. Here. See, now I'm adding XPath splitter. Okay. Same XPath and namespace you have to specify. You know XPath I told you on that, right? How to get an XPath from Exchange XML editor. I told you, right? If you want this, you can go with the XPath. Okay. That's the XPath. What is a namespace? This is your namespace. We have on the day I told you, right? With respect to report, on the URN is there, right? That is a namespace. So you have to pass both to XPath splitter. Even I'll change the splitter now. Even if I put XML splitter, both same. Okay, it looks same. Only thing is like XML splitter have inbuilt like no, it supports splitting. It's like no, it supports streaming so that its performance will be good compared to XPath. Okay, both are same. It supports streaming actually. Okay, that's why it's like its performance is good compared to XPath. Okay, that's the only difference. Okay, for example, you're getting an input file in the form of zip folder. You have to use unzip splitter. Okay, that's what the splitter concept here. Okay. It's coming to here with the next step. Okay, so I will pass one by one. Okay, I'll pass one by one. So total records, when it comes, one record is getting saved, it has incremented. Next record, it has to increment. So we have initially with 0 records, right? So whenever one comes, it keeps incrementing this one plus 1. Okay. So now I want to pass what is mandatory field to pass to request for my request. What is required to pass? See, to update an employee, to update retirement eligibility to an employee, which employee? That employee ID is required, right? From the field, from the report, I need employee ID to update it.
Yes.
Okay, and also I need the new date. What is the date? A date of birth is 58 date, right?
Yes.
That is, I've created a report in the form of new date. Like no retirement eligibility has created. I've given a name called new date. Okay, yes. So that I have like see to call any value from a XML, right? So to get value to be passed as XPath. I'll show you and I'll show it in here and show you. It's a function, parts of XPath. From the XML, right? Let me go here and create and show you the function about it. I'll add it here. To here only I'll add it and show you. Not adding the function names. Okay. See, to call your parts, it's a ML expression, predefined function. To call any value from a XML, right? So we use this to get the path, XPath. Okay. So you know the XPath and the namespace, you have to use this. Okay. That's what I'm doing it here. So from the XML, I have to know the path as well as the namespace. So from this report namespace, from this path, I want to get the employee ID and pass it to this variable.
Okay.
Okay. Again, I am getting the new date from this same report. I'm getting the new date field using the XPath and passing into this variable. Okay.
Okay.
Why I'm using this like retirement eligibility has some extra strings in the XML. Right? If you take sometimes some XML has like some timings, right?
Okay.
Has some like if you take higher date plus 12,000, some dates also timing also will be there. I don't want. I just don't want the date. Okay. So dot substring, first 10 characters.
Okay.
Date and first 10 characters I need to take. So substring 0, 10. Okay.
Okay.
So what happens, as you said, date of birth is empty. It's not maintained.
Okay.
I'm validating it. So the date of birth is empty, then it will throw error. So if you're using validate function, so we have a lot of validate components called like no get ML expression, evaluate, this is for ML expression evaluation. Okay, we have like no, if you want to evaluate any schema, XML schema. Okay, we have like no this XML schema validation tool component. I say okay. This is for normal evaluate expression. So we want to evaluate any XPath. We use this component. Okay. So this is an XPath. As I said, this is an ML function, right? To evaluate the date of birth. If it is blank, it will throw error saying like the date of birth is empty.
Okay.
Date of birth for the blank is employee, which employee date is. It will throw error.
Okay.
I'm validating here. Okay. Then I'll put a log file and check. It's for me, like, see, logs are like no for the or a testing purpose. Even if you don't have this, the report will still run. The integration will still run. Okay. Logs are to or a testing purpose and also to know how much values are being recorded there. Okay. So I'm passing this total like how many records being processed. I want to know that, right? How many records are passed, getting successfully loaded, right? So I will pass this to this variable. See, this is a variable, right? So here, this records, this one, right, to get to know how many records are successfully processed. I'm just putting a log and checking it here. Okay. And then writing, this is the major component you require to pass your request. Now every validation is done up to here. Then I want to load my variables, like no, pass my request and get a response. Right. So here is the one, my request. Yesterday I showed the one, right? Same thing. We'll take it from the web service tester and place it here. Okay. So there we are passing values, right? They were passing hard code in the values and checking it. But every time now it has to be dynamic, right? So from this props, we are stating to a variable, right? This one props. So we will pass it to a request. You see here, we'll pass it to this request.
Okay.
As I told, every props will be passed in the form of curly braces, right? Between that, we pass this variable name. So again, we want to pass a retirement eligibility date, which is a new date, this one. So I'm passing it here.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, this is request, but we should get the response. How we can get the response? To get any web service request response, we have to use Workday outso. See, if you're using any Workday report, we have to use Workday outrest. To pass, to get response of any web service, we need Workday outso. Okay, here you have to specify your application, which web service it is and what is the version.
Okay.
Okay, got it. These are two required fields when you call a Workday outso. Okay, so all the integration should have a global error handler. This should be there in all of your integration. So this is one of the integration. Okay, this is a real-time integration which is I developed for one of my clients. Okay, and if I go, I'll also show one Canada one is there. 1 minute, NetSol, yeah. This is also again one real-time one. All your integration should have this global error handler. See, okay. So what happens is like, why we are having this, I'll tell you. See, we are having two errors. This is something which is failing, which will fail if there is an error with respect to a data. Okay. It may be due to that. It may be like no, globally it can fail. Maybe some of the like say a global error. It failed with some other errors. Okay.
Okay.
What is like? It is an error or it's warning or whatever this, we can get it here. Okay.
Okay.
See, there's a component of get error context. Get a context error message will be there. Parameters.
Okay.
Not here, but real time we have this concept of get error. I'll show it here. Here it's not there. No, it's I don't know. Here it is. Context.error message, which is why it has been error, why it has got failed. We can capture it with this function. Okay. A quick question to you. you understood this integration flow, right?
Yeah.
Any doubt with respect to this flow? You need this CLAD file?
Sorry?
You need this CLAD file for you?
Yeah, that would be helpful for me to like refer just in case.
Okay, I'll share it with Shiva and you can get it from him. Okay. Okay. So as I said, this is one way of doing it. The other way, if they're giving you a file, this is from inbound you're getting and you're doing it via web service, it's fine. See, they don't ask you how do you do a hash map. Yeah, I also wanted to show a hash map, but I think I have a very big one, which will be difficult for you to understand also, and it will be difficult to even if you observe it, it will take a lot of time for you to explain even the interviews. Okay, that's why I took a very simple one. You may say if you're going for the one which I'm telling you, you can say use the hash map to to do a validation. They won't ask you how do you do that. They'll ask you what is the validation here. I was using hash map. You can see. Okay, I'll take the one which I was doing. This is using a file. This was using a file. Okay.
Okay.
So now the other requirement is they have given you a file. Okay. They have given you a file and they're asking to load it. They're giving list of employees, employee IDs, okay, and they have given you the retirement eligibility date, hard coded and given to you, okay. How do you do that? Then I'll tell that as well, okay. So as I said, every indication starts with a start here, okay. I don't have any launch parameters. I don't have any. I have only retrieval service, which means I'm going to retrieve a file from an external path. Okay, I'm going to have a retrieval service. Okay, you will just add it here, but the configuration will be in tenant. I will show this one. Have this in my tenant. I'll show this one. Okay, I created here for our test purpose. So this is a retrieval service. I'll have it here, but I'll configure it in my tenant. You just have to add your service here. Okay. Using this service, you have to click on it, it will get created. Just give the name, it will add it here. Okay. So as I said, once you get it, you have to use a variable called, use a function called DA, which is a data accessor. They'll ask you, if you say DA, you say data accessor. Okay. And you have to get a data accessor and store it to a variable. It may be any name you can give it, not this name, you can give any name. So to that name, all your file in your thing, it will be stored as a variable. If you have 100 records, it will be stored in the form of variable. Okay. So this component splitter cannot know a variable, right? It's only a message. Message is it may be an XML message and it can read it. It may not know what it is, right? Right. So we use this copy component to copy that variable to a message. Okay. Here you have to choose. Here will be message. Okay. You have to change it to variable. Okay. And then you have to specify the same name what you gave it here.
Okay. So retrieve dot variable is you have given it, right?
Yeah, this is I'll add it and show you. Don't worry.
Any random name, right? This is.
See, I'll show you. I'll add like this. Dot 2. Okay, I'll use this, and then my index will be 0. And this variable name, it can be even variable name also. It can be even this.
Okay.
We usually follow this naming conventions. Okay, to retrieve any variable. Okay, that's why I have used here. Okay. Even you can use this same variable name today. It may be anything. Even it can be Shushma. Even it can be XYZ. Anything it can be. But whatever you give it here should be passed here. Your variable name. Okay. Got it? Okay. So for this copy component is used to copy a variable to a message or message to a variable, whatever it could be. Okay. So my input to this is a variable. My output I want it as a message. So this is I'm getting it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But splitter can know only XML file, right? It may not. I'm getting a record, 100 records. I have to update each one. As you know, you want to split it, right? But my splitter can understand only XML. It cannot understand CSV, right? It can only split X. I'm using XML or XPath. So XML or XPath, I need a XML file, right?
Yes.
So there I didn't talk about CSV to. Oh, that's an XML file. Okay, let's come here. Okay. So we have a conversion tools called, see if you see here, transform. You can transform an XML to Java or XML to JSON or JSON to XML. This is validation tools to convert anything. to CSV to XML or XML to JSON or like anything to text like a text file. So these are list of functions where you can convert the files. Okay. So let's say my input file is CSV. They're given an Excel sheet, right? I want to convert to XML first thing, right? Or you can convert like if you want to pass a CSV also you can pass it. So I want to convert CSV to an XML file. So I convert this. Okay.
Okay.
So what I'll pass it here. Let me tell you. Okay. See, in my output file, in my input file, so let's say in my input file, I'm having these columns: legal first name, employee ID, eligibility. These three are there. Let me show my input file also. What is the file name I gave? Employee. I think this is the input file I made, not this one. See, in my output file, let's say, let me create an output file here itself. Okay. See, let's say like legal name is there. It's not, this is not my output file, but I'm saying like my input file. What I'm saying, input file, maybe like 3 columns are there. Legal name. Okay. Let's say here. It is having legal full name, employee ID, and retirement eligibility date. This is my header. See, every Excel will have an header, right? Okay. So you have to specify root or row. What is this root or row? I'll tell you. See, in the XML sheet, right? You're converting to an XML, CSV to XML. Let's say I'll create a notepad and show you. Let's say in report, right? We have report data. Topmost node as report data. Under report data, you will have report entry, right? Under report entry, you will have employee data. Let's say employee ID. Okay, you will have employee name like this. You will have employee name. Again, under one, you will have this. You will close this report entry, right? Again, you will have one more report entry. Under that, you will have it. Okay.
Yes.
Again, you will keep on repeating it. So here, instead of report data, I'm defining it as root.
Okay.
I'm converting a CSV to an XML file. What is my topmost node is? What is my root name? What is my root node is? And what is my row root is? This is a row, right? Then I'm dividing as row. This will be row. Understood now? It may be anything. You can give like Sushma 1, Sushma 2. You can specify that root name here. Okay? So that it will get splitted like that.
Okay.
And the separated is CSV. It is comma separated. Made like comma separated file. Okay. See, in your Excel sheet, you are having a header like employee name, employee ID, retirement eligibility. Then you have to specify that it's true. Use first line as header. Then you have to specify it as true.
Okay.
Okay. These are the components which are required. This column names you have to specify it here. In your output, in your input file, if you have these columns, you have to specify it here. What are the column names? And then this log is to check whether my XML is coming rightly or wrong. Is the XML like whatever message is coming here, I'm getting right or wrong. So coming to log, explain about this logs, right? So we have two things. One is text and one is message, and this is line separator. See, I want in the XML output file, in the log file. See, when you run integration, you will have a log file for sure. Okay. So in the log file, you will have this like I want an identification. For the identification purpose, we add this text. So what will I'll click on text. I'll put the star. To see if you see any log files, there will be cluster of data will be there. Okay. In order to identify my particular output, I'll like to indicate like this. Then I want to have a line separator, which is a function over here as create a line separator. So after the star, I will have a line separator, and then this message content is the one which will have my XML file.
Okay.
Whatever is getting to have a log, whether it's creating rightly or wrong, I will have this message content will give me my what is the XML file. Okay, so that for my testing purpose, I had this message content so that whenever I'm running the integration, for the debugging purpose, it'll be easier for me to debug it. Okay, and then now from CSV to XML, I'll send to splitter. Again, the same process continues.
Okay.
Got it? Two ways, either via file, either via input report.
Yes.
Got it? So when we use hash map here, like no, for the validation purpose, see, now we are getting files from here. Okay, we are getting a file, you're getting a splitter, then you will call a report from the tenant. We use hash map concept, then compare both the values, validate it, and then update it. Okay, I'm not here, I don't have it here. See, after the splitter, we have to check it whether the values coming here exist in the tenant or not. How do we check it? We need a report to check it. Custom report, right? So again, we will call a report, and then we use a hash map concept, check both the values, and then call the Workday outrest and then update it.
Okay.
Workday outscope and then update it.
Okay. So hash maps comes in place when we have to validate two files. Validate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as you say, two files. No, you want to validate, like, for example, you are getting an input file. Anyway, anytime you're getting an input file, we validate via hash map concept.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay.
So you can add a point saying here, I was using I was given a file. You can make any file, you can say, okay, I was getting a file. I was using the validation purpose for to validate the file. I was using calling a report, and I was using hash map to validate both the values, and then I was updating it. Okay. Hash map is just it's a Java function. Okay. I have one. I can show you what the Java function is all about. It's a very big one. See, and stores to hash map.
Okay.
See, again, it's like no. See here you can understand. I'm calling a report. Okay.
Okay.
Workday outrest. See,
okay.
to that they are getting my values, and then splitter will goes on, and this is a hash map concept. This is my hash map, employee props hash map.
Okay.
So just to validating purpose, I'll just store it here and then I'll check it. Okay. It's a very big one. If I take a lot of time to explain you. Okay. I don't have a file also to show you how they are getting validated. Okay. See, they are getting to sub-button that calls a report. We'll get the CNAME and employee IDs and store it to the hash map concept. They'll store it and then check it. Okay. Got it? Any doubts with respect to this integration? Inbound, how they are doing two ways?
No.
Clear? Okay. Let me take you one outbound. Okay. So I would have asked you this two things I want to show you. Okay, before I get into inbound. Okay. Okay. So in the store, we're not having any store. Fine. We are not getting any store. Fine. Then the inbound is fine. Got it? When I talk about outbound, I'll talk about maps, integration map services, attribute services, sequence services. I'll also talk about how we get the document retention policy. Okay. I'll talk about that when we talk about outbounds. Okay. I'll take the solve one. I'll take this one. I'll tell you the scenario why I'm using this integration. Then I'll tell you. I'll explain the scenario. See, I have using a pickoff file. Okay. I'm using a pickoff integration. Okay. They are asking me to send separate files. Let's say in my XML, right? I'm getting, see, pickoff will give you separate sections, right? Composition sections. We'll have leave of absence. We'll get every section separately. I told you we have staffing events. With that code, we can differentiate it. HIR, TER. We'll have the staffing codes, right?
Hello.
You forgot.
Hello. No. I remember.
How you remember, right? So I was just with that I wanted to show. Sorry, some connection has happened. That's why you didn't hear it. I think. Okay, you can hear me, right? So I'm getting a pickoff integration, and then they're asking me to send separate files for each transactions. Okay.
Okay.
And they also need a log file. If there's anything getting failed for each section, they're also asking me a log files. Okay. This is my requirement. Okay.
Okay.
So how will I do this? I'll tell you. This is about requirement. I'll tell you. Okay. So as I said, I'll start using this service to start my integration. Okay. My launch parameters, my input document, which is a repository. Okay. Why we are using it? We are going to take it from an integration. Okay.
Correct.
So this get even component, using this component, we can call our integration. I'll show you. Get even comp. See, from an event, we are going to get the documents. From the integration event, we are going to get the document. If it runs today, from that event, we are going to get the documents.
Okay. Okay.
So, because my pick off event, in pick off it becomes integration event. From that event, I want to take the documents. It's from the retrieval service. From the integration, I am going to take the output file, XML file, and then split it.
Correct.
Okay. So that is a component, get even components. So we have to go to check if first we have to give a check like if the integration event is none, then it will be not getting it up. This is a even thing. When you want to add it, I'll tell you here. I'll click on here. So we have a lot of things here. What is that? So when you use this, like I'll tell you 1 minute. This option is not showing me here. Okay. So when you define, you have this function, right? This event WID, you'll be copying it here. Okay. We have to add it. If you want to put this like when even get even step, like we specify this step lp.set. This is a launch. This is a function which is defined by defined by Workday itself. Okay. How can I say this step? Okay. If you go to community, right, put get even documents, you will get this function. Okay. So that we'll put it basically when we call it the get even documents. Okay. Next, again, we will get a variable from the event. We'll get a file, right? Now we get from the event, we'll get the file. So as I said, when we get a file, we have to convert to we have to store it to a variable. So now it is not stored in my SFTP server. I know the output file because from the pickoff, we will define the sequence using a sequence generator or from the output file format, we specify the file name, right? You remember, as I said, two things were here.
Yeah, we used to pass each record. So we put the index value as 0 there. Now we are passing
the file name. Since we know the file names. Okay.
Yeah.
So from the particular event, we are going to take the file names. Okay.
Okay.
That is why we are passing a file name here.
Okay.
Okay, file name I'm passing it in and storing to a variable pickoff file. So as I said, once you copy to a variable, what do you have to do?
We have to go to copy and then we have to give variable to message.
Yes, variable. This is my variable and I'm copying it to a message. Okay, and I'm putting one error. What does that send errors? I'm putting if there's anything is getting file, if file is not there, then you send an error. What is it? Why it is getting failed? It will throw this. Okay. Yeah. And then see, this is a local out component. See why this is, you can put continuously. It looks, if you see this index is a bigger one. It's a simple one, but it looks bigger. Okay. If I keep on adding like this, it goes and looks clumsy. Right? So we use a concept of local out and local in. So this is this is a local out. Okay. Local out is something like, you know about programming, right? We write a function and call it in different place. We define the function and call it in some other place, right? So this is when we put this one, we are going to call this, right click on it, declaration in workspace. It takes to here. Okay. So after this one, I am going to call this process record. So you have to define a local out, and then when you define a local out, you have to define a local in as well. This is local in. So this local out will call this local in.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the local in part.
Okay.
See, let me want to add and show you in any of the integration. You understood, or you want me to show it?
I understood.
Understood. Okay, fine. So from here, I'm going to process this records. So I got my XML file. From this, I got my XML file, right, as a message. So entire XML message, XML is here, stored in this component. From this component, I'll get my XML. Okay. So based on the strategy, so we have different types of strategy as well. Custom strategy, reject strategy, ML strategy, and this round robin strategy, and this is XPA, extreme strategy is like all, it will go through all the strategies which we are defining it here. Okay. And this is like we're using document, when you're using any documents, right, we're using multiple documents. Okay. Let's say we are having one document, we use DA. Okay. When we use multiple documents, I'll tell the next function. Okay. So this is when you're using document, multiple documents to be passed, we use document iterator. Okay. So we have to go through all, we need all the files, right? So we need to go through all the strategies. Okay. So we're using all strategy here, and this is my file. This is what I'm defining my roots. Okay. First, I want to have a leave file. So I'm defining this leave file function. This is local out. Right click, declaration in workspace. It calls me here.
Okay.
Okay. So from that I'll get the XML, right? Based on the strategy, my XML, I'll get it. Go here. Okay. And you have to write an XSLT. Okay, it gets created. Sorry. I'll open it and show you. See, I'm having this all Excel, like pick of XML. Okay. Okay. This is a template from payroll extract. I'm getting to get the pay group, and I'm writing my XTT. If you see, I'm using XTT functions. Okay. This is my separator. I'm going to translate functions to get the values. Okay. Output files, and I'm declaring all the values. It's all about with respect to leaves. Okay. Like all the increment, and I'm using all the functions and getting my leave, only leave, see, leave start date, leave end date, estimated leave end date. Okay. Only my leave files are here. Okay. Since I'm using XTT functions here, okay, I use XTT to XML to text. This should be there when using XTT functions.
Okay.
And in the you have to define this XTT dot message. You have to specify this one. Okay. And then I get stored it to a variable. Okay. In store, see, this indicates your expiration, document expiration dates. Okay. And this indicates this is a file which is, we are hard coding the file name. If not, what we will do it? I'll tell you. You want to dynamically pass your values, right? I tell you. See, I'll define the sequence generator here. Okay. This is your function, and here my stored file. LP dot get sequenced value to call any sequence generator values.
Okay.
To here, I'll pass my sequence generator. Here, whatever you specify the name here, you will put it here. See, in my current one, I didn't have my sequence generator. They were not asking me those files, so I was using this one. Okay, there are multiple files, so they are not using any sequence generator. They are hard coding the file names. Okay, in real time for other file, if we are using one output file, we use sequence generator, right? So how we will specify it in Studio is like, we'll just specify the service here. Okay. In here we'll say specify the service. We'll configure it in tenant. Okay. All the sequence generators, when you deploy this integration, right, you will get the configure sequence generator task. Like how we usually do this co-connect task, right? We'll do it. Whatever you do it, it has to capture in your cloud connector, which is your Studio integration, right? So you have to specify the service lp dot get sequence. It's a function again. Launch parameter function again. I had to shoot it. lp dot get get sequenced value. Okay.
Yeah.
Through this, I'll get my sequence generator value. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
See, to have any document, how many days that is get expire? The format in Studio is P7D. Okay.
Okay.
P7D means it expires in 7 days. For example, every time, like say today, they're designing it as 30 days document expiration date. Okay. And tomorrow they are making it to 70 days or 80 days or 180 days. Okay. This documentation policy, again, we will define it at the tenant level. Okay, that changes the tenant, but how we have to again call the come into Studio and update it manually, right? Okay.
Okay.
Let me do it one more. Give you a different different kind of explanation. See, we are defining hard coding it as P7D, which is common value defined. P7D or P30D means it's hard coding the document retention policy dates.
Okay.
In the Studio. Okay.
Okay.
For example, they want to change it to 60 days. What you will do, you have to take your Studio Clar file, make it 60, deploy it again, and you have to run it. Every time you have to come to Studio integration, do it, deploy it,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
instead of that, using get attributes, every integration attributes, we have this document retention policy, right?
Yes.
Yes. So we will define the attributes. In the attributes, we have this concept of document retention. It can be anything. It's defining your name, okay? And it will be a number, right? It's a number, right? So we define this attributes. We call this service here, okay? Give some name like attributes. Any name you can give it. And in the integration attributes, you click on. It's a simple, right? It's a simple one. Add it. Document retention policy, number, and this name. What do you have it here? Go to your store. Why I'm passing this one?
Okay.
Any idea? No, I'm not passing the same value. I'm just passing a different one. I'm not passing. See,
Okay.
I use document retention policy, but here the value is different. Why? What is the format of specifying this? I said PD7.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
it is not having PD7. So I'm putting one more eval here. I'm concatenating it. P plus the day, how many date it is like 180 or thing, plus D.
Okay.
Okay. Anything within quotes is a text.
Okay.
Over here. See, people ask this question in interviews. How do you have a document retention policy dynamically? Or how do you specify it? How do you in Studio? How do you specify the expiration date? So just the format is P days and like no P. It has to expire in 7 days. We specify as P7D. Okay.
Yeah.
If you wanted to have it dynamically, we define it through attributes and we specify and like no through launch parameter like no through the ML expressions we specify it in the expiration days that particular field. Okay.
Yes.
They ask us usually because people will do it in real time. Some may not know, right? So they ask this. Okay. How do you call it in a sequencer value? We have a function called lp.sequence value.
Yes.
Okay. How to get the attributes? Okay. I have one PPT to show you. If you take today, there's a lot to talk about each component. Okay. Each function has its own properties and things. What I wanted to show you is Studio. 1 minute. I have some PPT to show you. A certain PPT. So one more thing is like what's the difference is like in Studio, right? We can design, deploy, okay? But with other integration, like we design and deploy them, right? But with respect to Studio, we can configure it, we can launch it, and we can monitor everything from Studio itself. See, basically how integration goes, we will design it, okay? We will deploy it, and then we launch, and then we monitor it. But with respect to Studio, we configure, launch, and monitor. See, this is a Workday app, normal Workday Studio integration. We configure, launch, and monitor. So I'm saying vice versa, sorry. See, normal co-connector integration, what we do is like we configure them, launch them, and schedule them, which is the monitoring ones.
Okay.
Okay, see normal co-connect, let's think in a real time. What you do is co-connector work. Yesterday, what you did, we configured all the services, everything. We launched it and then we scheduled it. But here, with respect to Studio, we have to design them, deploy it, and then we can launch it from tenant.
Okay.
You know how to deploy Studio integration?
Deploy it.
Huh. See, you design it here, but you have to deploy it to Workday. Until you deploy, any small change you make it in Studio integration, you have to deploy it. Okay, you have to deploy your Studio integration and then you have to see the results. Okay, and
Also have integration in the, I mean, it will generate an integration event in the Workday tenant, right?
you can, in the events you will generate it. See, but any change you are doing it here, you have to do it here and then you have to deploy it. Okay, you can even launch it from here as well. Even from Studio integration, even from Studio itself, you can launch the integration. I'll tell you how. See, once you establish a connection, right? Okay, you can see all your integration from your tenant here. See, all of these are Studio integration from my tenant.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I want to launch this one INT 005, right? Yep. Okay. See, go here, start. From start, you can launch it. Launch integration. If you click on here, it will not show launch. You have to click on start here, launch your integration. You can even launch it from here as well. You can even as an IUC from here as well. Okay. You can even debug your integration in Studio here. Okay, using this option. Okay. So that's why you have to design it, deploy it, and then you can launch it in integration, launch it from your tenant, and you can monitor it. Until you deploy, you cannot launch your integration. Got the difference? Okay. I said one simple example for reference data. Okay. If you want to pass any reference data, you have to use supervisory organization. So what is WID? And we have this reference IDs. Okay. You know about Workday ID, right?
Workday IDs.
Maybe tomorrow I'll create and show you one simple outbound integration with all the attributes. Okay. You will understand the complete flow of. It's a very basic, simple. I'll explain and show you, create and show you. Okay.
Okay.
So that to it will be more clear to understand about the services. Okay. Mostly they put questions on services. Okay. What the services meant for, what the services under launch parameters, what are the services you have, and what are the different types of launch parameter types we have. They want to put on questions like that. Okay. And what is the function maybe to call a sequence generator, or how to specify the expiration days in the store component. Okay. What is meant by XML stream splitter, or what is meant by XPath, and why use XML instead of XPath. Those splitters can be put on questions. Okay. You know what is meant by aggregator?
Aggregating all the splitted output.
So it aggregates all your splitted values. For example, you splitted, you want done done your validation, and you want to aggregate it. Finally, I want only one output file. We use aggregator. Okay. Okay, it's coming here. So I have this. Maybe I'll share this PPT to you. It will be some you can go through it. It contains. It's not much information. I have just added for a very basic one. Okay. I'll share it. You can go through it. See, to get any attributes, go to the ML syntaxes. Insys got get attribute. Okay, whichever I used it here. Get attribute, which is from your attributes you get your values. So under attributes in this space, document retention policy, right?
Yeah.
So insys get attributes. This is a ML syntax to get the day. Okay, how many days? Okay, to call if you add a maps, right? If you add a maps here, okay, you have to specify internal type and external type.
Okay. Yeah.
Internal type is your Workday value. What is for that internal value? What do you want to map it? Male means M, female means F. So internal type will be your gender. Let's say it's an internal type, what is in a tenant, and external what you have to specify. For that, we use the function called insys integration map lookup for external. Okay. For internal, insys integration map reversal lookup.
Okay.
Okay, this is the function. This, you can see the example here.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is how we specify it. So as I said, for launch parameters, right? For the sequencer generator, we use lp.get sequenced value, sequence generator. Okay. And I'll talk about this when I talk about that. As I said, root component, right? What are the root components we have? What is meant for each one? Okay. And some of the routing strategies, I said, we have, when using routing, we have round robin and what is all strategies sends to all subroutes, right? So what is regular? So all you have get a brief description of this one, online expression for each of the routing strategies. Okay.
Right.
As I talk about two cases, right? From the async mediation, we are seeing the local errors, and we also have this global error handler, right? As I said, it's an unforeseen error. We cannot see what is error. We don't know what is an unforeseen errors. So through global handler, we get that. Okay. So based on a certain scenario, we are going to get some errors. That is a local error handler. Okay. Okay. I'll talk about this when it talks about the handlers.
Okay.
I said, like, we have this validation components, like evaluating ML expression, evaluating an XPath, evaluating we talk about for these components, right? Validation ones.
Yes.
I'll talk about this later. Meanwhile, okay. Let me talk about this catching errors. I'll tell you. Okay. But about this, you know about this attributes, right? How do you specify the sequence agenda value, maps, attributes, documentation policy. All these services you're clear now, right? Report as a service. What is retrieval service? We have to call to retrieve any file. We use retrieval service. To deliver any file, we specify the delivery service, and the attribute service is for maps and attributes. Any integration attributes, if you want to call it in Studio, we use as attributes. Okay. Okay. Maybe I'll create and show you. Maybe tomorrow we have one more class, right? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow we are connecting again, right? Maybe I'll like completely like one outbound I'll show you. A very simple one. I'll create and show you and explain each component what it is doing it. Okay. So if you talk about aggregator, why I want to do that? Like we have an aggregator component. Aggregator one, we have like different types of strategy we have it, and we also different types of content collaborator we have it. See, we use XML splitter, right? So if you go and click here, if you go to aggregator, right, we have custom batch, we have size batch using time. We mostly use custom batch actually. Okay, time batch is also there. We don't use them mostly. So I'll tell you the difference between size batch and time batch. Okay. Size batch is something like it should go until the end of, for example, if your output is having 100 records, I want to aggregate the first 10 records. Okay. If we go to here, size batch, if I specify 10, it will aggregate only 10 records. Okay. I want to go until the end of the text, we specify it as -1. Okay. To get the complete output, we specify it as -1. Okay. This is a size batch. So if you want to run the integration gets aggregated up to some, you have to specify time to get the output file, not an entire file, like up to particular timing you want to set the strategy, we use time batch strategy. Okay. We mostly don't use that. We generally use size strategy, size batch strategy. Okay. So if we have different type of message content collator also. So we have specified the strategy, and then we have to use a content. We have to use a collator to combine your file. Yeah. It has to have both these one strategy and your content like collator. I'll show here. See, up to this is a strategy, and you have a collator now. Collator, custom collator, message content collator, XML message content collator. We have zip file collator. So when you're using unzip file collator, right, we should have a zip file collator. Finally, they want a zip file. Okay, you can use zip file collator. Okay, and they want to they are using a message. Here I'm going to collate only the message. I'm using message content collator. Okay. See, talking about this thing, we can go on and talk about student. We have different components, different features are there. Under that, we have multiple things are there. Okay. Maybe I'll share this PPT to to answer questions with respect to interviews. This one may be helpful to you. Okay. You can read read the one line description of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll share it with you. You can understand it. Okay. This is not it. Okay. Okay. Let me complete that one. Since I started this, right, I'll complete this flow. Okay. So I was doing this store file, and then this cloud log is to log your errors. Okay. So if this is absence file successfully, this is a message it is going to throw you, and this condition, like when this file to be generated. Okay. If the blank access is not true, if they're not, nothing is blank, it will display this. We'll get this cloud log files. It will give you a file output. Okay, I'll just tell you where it gets generated. See, this is an information it is going to give you. It's going to debug. If you're going to have it as a warning, it is going to be an error. Then you can specify what type of it is. Okay. If you're going to have an output file, you want to have the cloud file to be log. Instead of having your logs, you want to have a file from it. You can specify it. You want an HTML file, or you want to have a CSV file. You want an XLX file. From this logs, you can specify it. Okay. See, this is again information. Absence file not generated because of some conditions. It is getting failed with these conditions. Okay. This is logging it. Okay. Okay. Sending error. If anything got failed here, we again have to send a cloud logs. See, here I'm getting an HTML file. It's just a logging. I'm just getting a logs there. But if you from this error, I'm just getting why it is failed, and in the form of HTML files, I'll get it. Okay. Error generating absence file. What is the error? I said it, to get any errors, we use this function context.error message. Why it has failed. Okay. And then save leave files. We are going to put it here. This is a put integration message, which is to put any errors. What is the error it has come up? You have to get this one. Okay. Again. So this file is done. This call leave file is done. Next, I'm going to call compensation. Same, it's a simple one, but if we have multiple steps to same steps will be repeated.
For each file, yeah.
For each file, again like an XSLT. Again, same thing. XTD, I'll use it. Again, I'll put it in a store component. Again, I'll put a log files. It seems silly, but we have wanted to send separate files, right? We are using it this one. Okay. I'll share both the CLAR files to you today, okay, and the PPT of Studio. You just go through it. Any doubts, you come up. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll just go through the I'll declare in the Workday space where it is routing. So then I'll have an idea what after what. Very well. So
okay, we just come up with your questions. What was it?
I'll try to create a simple integration based on what you're talking about. Integration using the reports that I've developed.
Okay.
And then I'll show it to you tomorrow.
Okay, sure. Yeah. See, I'm also left with few of the calculated field functions. Okay. Lookup organization roles, lookup hierarchy. I do remember it. Okay. Tomorrow you come up with the studio questions and I'll complete the remaining cal field functions. Okay. With that, I think I have covered all the topics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything I'm left over?
No, I guess you've done almost everything. If you can show me about the orgs and subogs tomorrow, as how to create a
functional.
Yeah, very basics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, by tomorrow the class is ending. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I even covered more topics rather than which I didn't complete. I didn't commit also. I also talked about Vici, and also I talked about Vici. You didn't even put it, but I want to show. Since you're familiar with Vici, they really ask about Vici in your interviews. Okay.
Yes.
Nowadays, people started using Vicis to track all the effective transactions. That's why I was telling you all those informations. Okay. I think almost I told everything. Only thing maybe I didn't tell you is about the dashboards. Okay.
Yeah.
If I get time tomorrow, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, I'll discuss over the dashboard as well. And I'll create and show you one dashboards. Okay. So I'm left over is only remaining calfill functions. I'll give you scenarios. Okay. And I'll create the remaining calfill functions. And then I'll talk about you want dashboard. Then I'll take it. Otherwise, I'll skip it.
Okay.
You
And
want
will
it?
you be showing studio tomorrow? The one that you said, like simple studio.
I'll also do that. See, you go through it. You're not understanding it. I'll also share the simple one also to you. See, I'll share with you. I'll share the simple one which I showed you today, right? This one also, this clarified. It is there in the tenant. This is completely there in the tenant. You can run and see it. Okay. This is there in the tenant. INT 003 report splitter. See, it is there. It is also there. It is also there. Okay. You know how to take a clar file from the tenant?
Yes.
Okay. You can take,
I know it.
Yeah. You can take this clar files which is all there in this tenant only. Okay. Go through it. If you're not able to do it, reach out to me. Tomorrow we'll discuss in detail. Okay. Same step I'm going to show it. Okay. If you don't understand it, then we can see it. Okay. Since you know the basics, I just want to show you one flow. You said you know that, right? That's why.
Yeah. So I'll try to create it. And if I get doubts, I'll reach out to you tomorrow.
Yeah, we can discuss first 15 minutes or like first 20 minutes we'll discuss about your doubts in studio. We'll get clarified here. Then I'll complete the calfill functions. Then I'll talk about dashboards if time permits. Okay.
Sure.
Dashboard's quite simple. I can explain 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay.
You can spend 5 minutes. I can even show you now what is dashboard is.
Yeah, okay.
You're okay?
I'm okay.
Yeah. Okay. See, let me take your report itself. Let me take this report itself. Okay, let me take this report. Or you want to have, okay, any report is fine for me. Okay. See, anything you see on here, it's a dashboard, right? Let me tell you what is a dashboard and what is inside that. Okay. You see, this is called a dashboard. This is a dashboard. This is a dashboard. This is a dashboard again. It's on your home page, right? So if you click on any dashboard, let's take this dashboard. Under this, we have task. We have this report. It's a report, right? Yes. We call this one as a worklet in a dashboard. This is the report, but this is worklet. This is one worklet. Okay.
Okay.
Let me show you a different one. It is again a dashboard, right? But under this, we have. Let me run this. We don't have anything in this, or it's taking time to run. Okay, let me take a different. It's taking time to run, I think. Okay. Let's take this one. Anything you can take it. See, this is a task. Okay. This again, it is a report enabled as worklet, and it is coming there. Since it's a prompt, it is not showing there. Okay. So this is a. So you want to report any report to be on a dashboard. First, we have to enable them as worklet.
Okay.
How do you do them? How do you enable it? You remember it? I talk about that.
Advanced, you have an option to enable it as worklet.
And under advanced?
Sorry,
I
output.
don't think so. Output, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get vastly and I'll show you. So you have a task called maintain
dashboard.
Did it show you this one previously? I think I did. No.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but I remember.
I think I showed you this. I was asking the security groups and we added here, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think you showed me.
Then I've done it. Okay. Yeah, I showed you how to add in the home dashboard, right? I told you, right? Yeah. We have the security to be shared. The first thing, 2 things you have to consider. You have to make sure what dashboard is available. And also it should be shared with the security groups whom you want to share the dashboard. Custom domains. Yes, I told you, I think. Okay, you can see the recorded session and get see that. Okay. Tomorrow, complete the remaining calculate functions and your studio, whatever questions you have it.
Okay.
Okay, cool. You can end for today. I'll share the clar files with Shiva, clar files, and then studio PPT, and then what else I told? You can go through in the tenant, we have the 3 simple integrations, very simple one. You can go through that.
Yes.
Okay. INT 003, 4, and 5.
Okay.
Okay. This integration will have even all your services defined. Okay. And you can go through this. INT 003. Okay. Go through this, come up with questions, how to define a service. If you're got stuck anywhere, reach out. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sushma, yeah, then we can close for today and we can see tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will reply to them at the earliest.